This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, let's get into a little football talk, right? Because there's plenty of football talk to get to and plenty of football conversation because there's a lot of silly-ass stuff out there that fans, media are saying, and, we just got to call people out and call it like it is because I think it's kind of ridiculous at times, the angle that people take. So Josh Rosen was flat out released. They tried to trade him, and they could not find a trade partner. I think the fact that he cleared waivers tells you all you need to know why they couldn't even find a trade partner for the guy. Look, I like Josh Rosen. I liked him coming out of school. I thought he was a good passer, and there is more to this game than just passing. And there must be more behind the scenes. There must be more that this team wasn't willing to keep. Look, I know a lot of teams don't keep 3 quarterbacks. Most teams nowadays just keep 2, and they have one on the practice squad. That's kind of what they do, unless you're the Eagles and you can have somebody near retirement, near 60 years old, hanging out in their house in Texas. Maybe you can do that. But more people just keep 2, unless you're really stupid like the Jets and they're keeping 5. We'll get to that later. But anyway, so if you're going to keep a third, they've got to be special. They've got to have a future. They've got to have a lot of value. And clearly, the Dolphins assessed this the right way because his salary is $3.7 million. It's not an enormous salary. It's a very small salary for a backup quarterback. So he went through the waiver wire. 31 teams said, we'll pass for 3.7. It's not a lot of money. So then that's another indictment on him. Okay? Arizona gives up. Miami gives up. Miami tries to trade him. They can't trade him. They can't find. Now you know why they couldn't find any trade partners. Nobody wanted him for free. How are they going to pay for him? They weren't even willing to pay his $3.7 million salary. Right? Look, it was a bad trade for them. Didn't work out. For those that are writing out there or talking about it that the Dolphins made a mistake, I love that the Dolphins made this mistake. I love it. All I saw for 20 years was a team that never went for quarterbacks. So all of a sudden now, I'm going to start complaining about them trading for quarterbacks. And then this is the asinine part that I see. Well, you made a bad trade. What, do you think every trade's good? Or do you want a franchise that is trying to find a quarterback? Because last time I checked, these guys haven't been in place for 2 years, and they've gotten 2 quarterbacks already. And maybe they hit on one already in Tua. And if they did, mission accomplished. Because I said for many years, okay, I see NorCal on the chat board there, and I could go to NorCal. If Myron is watching, he's been following us for like 20 years, and NorCal's like somewhere in the 12, 15 neighborhood, so they know me for a long, long time. I'm the guy that says, get an effing quarterback every year until you find one. So now I get a front office that gets a quarterback every year, and I'm going to complain about it? I mean, I see the writers writing that. Oh, well, they screwed up. No, they didn't, you asswipe. They got a second-rounder and made it 2 second-rounders. The other one's Raekwon Davis. So if Raekwon Davis becomes an ass-kicking defensive lineman, who cares? That's your second-round pick last year or this year. Who gives a rat's ass? You created an extra second-round pick to go out and get a quarterback. Take a stab. You're going to hit on some, and you're going to miss on most. Okay? That's how the quarterback game is played. You don't draft and hit on every quarterback. You don't hit on every traded quarterback. You don't hit on every signed quarterback. Okay? So when I see writers talking about this, when I see fans talking about this, and TV heads talking about this, the problem is they don't have perspective. The problem is it's ignorance. So let me ask you something. So the Seattle Seahawks, the day they signed Matt Flynn to a large contract off the Green Bay Packers, traded for Charlie Whitehurst from Chicago, signed Jackson, re-signed Jackson, their quarterback, and drafted Russell Wilson. So they suck because they missed on 3 of the 4? I'm sorry. I must have missed it. So let's call Seattle idiots for giving Matt Flynn a large contract. Oh, and then they gave San Diego, because it was San Diego then, a draft pick for their backup quarterback. And then they also gave Jackson money, another quarterback that they had there. So on the 25% ratio of hit, am I supposed to call Seattle, oh, they're idiots. They spent money on Flynn. They traded for Charlie Whitehurst. They re-signed Jackson. And anyways, they drafted Russell Wilson. What effing team do you want, Dolphin fans? And for those of you in the media, how about getting a little perspective, dude? You know what I mean? It's like, it's whining to complain, or let me write an article that will stir shit up and get you guys to read and get you all pissed off. You know what I mean? But it's like there's no perspective. Like, you're supposed to hit on every draft pick? So when you released the defensive end a couple weeks ago, Weaver, oh, the world is falling. The sky is falling. And you don't like the kid, you let him go, that's it. It is what it is. You hope some others end up, falling in line. Or you hope you pick up somebody in street free agency. Because that's how it is. It's really convenient to say, well, you missed on Curtis Weaver. Yeah, but they hit on Preston Williams. Oh, you let Josh Rosen go, but you hit on Nick Needham. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you got rid of Kiko, but you brought in Vince Beagle. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes people write just to create controversy. Okay? Now, if you're constantly sucking and you're missing on everything and you're not winning and you're not developing and you don't have a coach and you don't have a front office, then I'm complaining. That's what I did for 20 years. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm not going to complain about Rosen. I like him, so maybe I was wrong. Some of you that liked him, maybe you were wrong. Some of you that didn't like him, you were right. You win some, you lose some. It's the way it goes. But if in 2 years or in less than 2 years, you trade for one and draft another, and if you hit on two, that's better than what Seattle did. Right? But I commend Seattle. I always, for years, have used Seattle as an example. That's how you find the quarterback. I don't care that you missed on Charlie Whitehurst and gave away a 4th rounder. I don't give a rat's ass you gave all that money for Matt Flynn. I don't care that you brought Jackson back. I care that you hit on Russell Wilson. That's what I care. And he was kind of the throw-in. Now, let's take him in the 3rd round. The league's passed him over nearly 3 times. We'll take him. What the hell? He might be a good backup for us. He ends up becoming a Hall of Famer. Okay, so for any of those people out there writing and complaining about Josh Rosen, I'm happy as hell, dude. Not happy that he got released. Not happy the poor kid is struggling to find his way. Not happy about that. I'm just happy that my team is constantly looking for quarterbacks. And if they miss on Tua, they're going to try to go get another one. And that's what you're supposed to do in front offices. And if you hit on Tua, I still want you to go draft another one in the next year or two. How do you like that? Okay? Because New England does it. Green Bay does it. That's the way you're supposed to do things. Even if you have your quarterback, keep drafting them. You know why? You're going to miss on most of them. Then you'll hit on one finally. That's just the way it is. It's not, most teams don't go hitting on quarterbacks every time they draft. That's just not normal. The normal thing is to whiff on a whole bunch of them. So whining and complaining about Josh Rosen is as ridiculous as it gets. It's short-sighted, and you really don't get it as a front office. Now, if they keep drafting quarterbacks and keep missing, then that'll be a problem down the line. But for now, I love what they're doing. So let's not overreact on the whole Josh Rosen thing. And they didn't keep a third because he's not special enough. And they'd rather keep the sixth receiver. Okay? In their book, in their eyes, it was more important to keep an extra receiver, which I thought they would go 5. They went 6 deep. They went Parker, Williams, Grant, Ford, Hollins, and Bowden Jr. that they just traded for. Okay? This is the way the game is played. And they just didn't feel it. And then they signed Jake Ruddick and put him on the practice squad. You only have 53 spots. So you have to accommodate people, accordingly. And in the 53 spots, they did not feel that third quarterback was special enough. And what justified their mistake, okay, was that 31 other teams said, yeah, now 3.7, it's not worth it, which is scary. Okay? So something is still amiss with Josh Rosen, no matter how much any of us may like him or may not like him. And that's why now he's a Buccaneer. And we'll see what happens there, because that Buccaneers situation, that head coach is not there for a long time. The head coach has had health issues. And that head coach is going to be gone, I would imagine, when Brady walks out that door. So if Brady's there for 2 years, I think Bruce is there for 2 years, and then he's out. And if Josh can learn whatever he can in the next 2 years, that's fine. But, I see the articles of, maybe he can find stability there and he can find, continuity there and all that crap. I don't think he realizes that his experiment won't be longer than 2 years there. Because once Brady's done, I think he and the head coach walk out into the sunset. Because this is what the head coach is loading up for this final attempt at winning a championship for his resume. You know what I mean? Brady has his own agenda. Josh Rosen, learn, kid. I don't know if you'll last a year. I don't know if you'll last 2. I wish you the best, but it's a change. Now he's making $142,800. That's what he's going to make this year.
Let me ask you, because of where he's at in his career, and obviously falling off the way, like nobody wants him, being with the Whisperer, Bruce Arians, is this it for him? Like, if something doesn't happen,
he's done.
Not even a backup job, right? It's over.
Yeah, I don't think he's the guy that wants to sit around as a backup anyway. I don't think he's going to end up, he's got money. It's not like, his family's comfortable. So I think he'll try again to be a starter, and if he can, then eventually he'll just retire and move on. That's what's going to end up happening. So this is definitely his last shot.
A chance to be with Arians and behind Brady and learn. I mean, if he doesn't get it now, right, over the next year or two, whatever he's given there, yeah, it like a backup job isn't even out there for him. Bye-bye.